Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another war. This is War 5 of Season 30, up against Infinity Raw, and this is a pretty sloppy war for me, and for the Alliance as a whole, but there's a lot to learn from here. First up, we're on Path 2 against Kingpin, Strike Counter Fury, Power Struggle. The goal here is to just throw off SP1 every chance that we get, and keep baiting his SP1. Big lag spike there, but that's okay. We're going in here, throwing off the first SP1. I made my first mistake of the war, giving him a Fury there. It's not the end of the world, but just something we could improve on the next time. And here we push him to a special and kind of do a weird light spacing because we thought we had the parry, but thankfully get the SP1 off. Try to bait another SP1 here. Mistake number 3, I don't finish out my combo and throw the special 1. Thankfully, with his rage stacks, he has increased power rate and we should be able to get back to another special without stacking too many Furies. So I go in there, give him a second Fury, but get my special off, reset the counter, and he's almost dead. And pretty much one more full combo into a special, and that should wrap up the fight. A couple mistakes, not the cleanest work by me, but we got through it pretty easy. Fight number 2, we're up against Sim Supreme on Strike Counter Fury as well. This placement's not ideal in my opinion. I think it would be better to have him on the node we just fought Kingpin on, because there you have to deal with power struggle, waiting for him to slowly get up to his special 1, and then throwing yours off, managing high ground. I think it's just a lot more challenging. Here we're going in with Void and a Power Start 1 boost, and this should be a pretty easy fight. I'm actually the most proud of this fight from all my fights this war. Did a really good job managing high ground, managing my strike counter, and just nuking this guy down. So we go in here. Again, I'm going to try to push to 9 hits and then wait for high ground, and then after he gets this high ground charge, I'm going to go back in, remove it, try to mitigate as much block damage from the high ground as possible, and keep my strike counter at the right level so that I don't get any Furies on him. You see me there, remove the high ground, go right back in for a special. We're going to keep doing that. 19 hits, back off, parry. He's going to throw his SB1 here, which is fine. I'm going to go in, remove the high ground. I do give him a Fury there, but again, he's basically dead, so it doesn't really matter. Pretty clean fight, pretty happy with that one. Fun to be using Void again in war. Haven't dusted him off in a while, and again, have always loved this champ. He's gotten through me through a lot of content. Next, we have this CGR, Strike Counter Fury, Power Drain. I'm going in here with Magneto. When I use Magneto on Strike Counter Fury against a metal champ, I kind of ignore the node for the most part and just play Magneto. He turns it off 70% of the time, and even if he doesn't here, I have perfect block most of the time, and should be able to nuke this CGR down pretty fast once I get to my SP3. Again, if I make a mistake here and need a combo, it could come back to bite me playing it this way, so maybe this isn't the safest approach, but it's one that I'm very comfortable with, and again, not too worried about here for this fight specifically. So again, with the Power Start 1, we're already up to SP2. I like to full combo, just build power, and then once I get close to Special 3, start charging heavies. baiting SP1 here. The unblockable fails. I could have blocked it, but I like to full dex just in case. Throw off some heavies. He's got 5 Furies again, but I have perfect block most of the time, so we should be fine. Another perfect block. Now I'm starting to charge heavy. I only need 15 prowess here because, again, CGR is bleed immune. With the armor breaks on the special 3, this should be able to do the job, and it does. So, pretty easy fight. Magneto at 100% health. Metal champs are just not the way to go on that node. I did have a cleanup of an Iron Man Infinity War on EMP mod. Someone got parried using Torch with pre-fight there, and so I had to clean up with Magneto. But we move on to Section 2 against the Spiderham on Strike Counter Block Penetration. This should be a pretty easy fight. I'm going in with APOC, SP1, start, and we're just going to throw SP1s. And again, we don't want him to get too many spider nonsense charges. That's kind of the only thing we have to worry about. Other than that, just throw SP1s and try to nuke him down as fast as possible. And I will get that disorient immunity up so that my parries and stuff won't fail. Because this is my last fight with APOC, I'm not too worried about the strike counter. I'm just going to play this fight and try to win it. Block damage is not the end of the world here. I won't have to heal him up or anything. Trying to bait out this SP1. I don't want to deal with his throwing pies on SP2. The SP1 is just much safer to evade, does a lot less block damage. He's being a little stingy, but eventually I'll get him to throw it here. There we go. And we'll go back in. He throws another one immediately. I'm healing from the taunt. Again, this is a pretty easy fight. I don't think this is the best placement here. Spiderham has a tiny health pool and goes down pretty quickly. But unfortunately, this is where things start getting sloppy with this Sentinel on strike counter block penetration. Again, I'm going with Magneto, and this should be the safest of matchups, but unfortunately, I don't know what happens. I just kind of eat a combo right off the bat here, which you'll see, and make several more mistakes, adding to the running count this war. And again, it's not the end of the world to make mistakes as long as we get out of there with a solo, but it's just things that we could improve on. There you saw me eat that combo. I'm down to 83% health. I'll get a little bit of that back through adrenaline, but I'm just trying to build the SP3 in this fight. I'll bait out an SP1 here, and then coming up I make another mistake. I bait out a heavy, and I get my spacing wrong, so he hits me with the tail end of a combo. Thankfully I get out of it, can back off. I'm at SP3 now, and I'll just parry heavy one more time, and this should wrap it up. Again, not the cleanest fight. I make several mistakes there, lose some health with Magneto, but I don't need him again this war either, and so overall, relatively happy with it, even though I made some mistakes. This upcoming fight, though, is where things are very hairy. I'm facing this Silver Surfer on strike counter combat power rate suppression and buffet, and this could have been a death, in all honesty, depending on how hard his SP3 hits. You'll see in a second. I go in here, the strategy with Void is to just slowly kill him with dot damage and throw specials when I can, but if I don't get specials, then I'm just going to combo him to death and turn off buffet with my petrifies. It's a pretty safe fight, as long as you don't mess up. I'm going to try to deal with high ground, manage my combo, but mistakes were made. Again, start off very strong like I did against Sim Supreme. I'm very comfortable with Void's animations. I go in here, throw a special, get to 9 hits. Now I'm going to wait out the high ground Dex if I have to. Don't really care if I heal him at this point, but I'm going to try not to. There, I remove the high ground, go in for another special, get a Petrify up. So now with Despair, we should be in a pretty good spot. Push him to SP2. Parry some more. There I make the first mistake. I go over 20 on the combo, so now I can't get rid of that high ground charge. So now I'm trying to dex, trying not to block as much as possible. Trying to bait out this SP2, but then I dex back early instead of reacting to his dex. I'm trying to anticipate it, and he hits me with a 5-hit combo. If that last hit would have been a medium, he would have gotten an SP3 and would have done big damage to me. I get a little bit lucky and he doesn't. And so now we're just going in and we're going to do some combos and finish things out. For the final fight for me of the war, I'm going up against this Bishop on Safeguard with Void. Again, I make several mistakes here, which you will see in a second. Just a sloppy war overall for me. Not super happy with it, but again, you try to learn and improve from the mistakes that you made. So the first mistake is I did not check his Sig level. So Bishop can go unblockable at a certain amount of prowess, and I don't know in this fight what that level is. So I push him to SP1, and I give him 18 prowess here. And this could easily make him go unblockable if he was high Sig. In this case, he is not. And so I know, okay, I'm safe at 18. I'm immune to steady release, which is nice, so now I'm just going to try to combo into him, get my debuffs up, start doing some damage over time. Baiting SP1s whenever possible. Here comes another one. Baiting out the heavy, going back in. Here we make another mistake. We hit into his block and we give him some stacks of regen, which make him go unblockable. I get cornered here a little bit. I throw a heavy to get out. Now I'm kind of stuck spacing wise. I need him to throw this SP1. I don't want to deal with his SP2. I guess I could take it on the block, but I don't really want to. Thankfully, he throws the SP1. I'm in the corner. Dex a little bit of the tail end of it. Go back in. Get some debuffs up. We're starting to do some good dot with Fear the Void up. And we just kind of rinse and repeat this to close out the fight. Again, it ends up working out pretty well. We end up closing this fight out with a decent amount of health left. Could have taken some more block damage, but I just wasn't happy with some of the mistakes I made that I knew going in I shouldn't do. But thankfully it didn't come back to bite us. We didn't give up any attack bonuses and cost the alliance at all. Finish him out here with a couple hits, throw off that special, and wrap up the war. I would also take the tail end of a Terrax boss, just clean him up, but that's pretty much it for me. I had 7 fights, 7 solos, quite a few mistakes, but hopefully we can improve on that on the next go out. Unfortunately, it was a sloppy war for us overall as an alliance, and we lost this war the last time I checked, but hopefully again, we're 3-2 on the season, we can start stringing together some wins. I appreciate your time, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and see you again in the next one. Bye.